Kevin May, Editor-in-Chief of PhocusWire. So we're here with Anthony Collias, the co-founder and the CCO of Stasher.
Yes.
I love the name.
Thank you. It's actually relatively new.
Okay.
The name originally was City Stasher, and partially as we grew, we felt that it made sense to kind of progress to Stasher.
Okay.
That kind of it actually loads of companies do it, right? Like Uber cabs to Uber and Air bed and breakfast to Airbnb, kind of streamlining. And I mean, as we built a more international audience, we needed something that was kind of shorter and easier. I mean, French people saying City Stasher, it was a real mouthful.
What was your market discovery for this company? How did you realise that there was enough there to turn this into a viable business?
Right. So I mean, I'll go through the whole story of how we came to it then. So I lived between Euston and King's Cross, and I had a brother who went to uni in central London, and he was an absolute hoarder, and loads of international kids at his school. So they were always like, "Oh, can I leave some stuff at your house for 2 weeks?" So we ended up not having much space. And along with my co-founders who I studied at uni with, we all graduated from Oxford in the same year. We were like, well, we could probably charge people for this. So let's make a website and see how people use it. And originally it was really open. It was you could store for a day, or you could store for several months, because we weren't sure how people would use it. And then as we went along, we saw, first of all, everyone who used it was 1 day. And we said when we saw that, we were we spoke to the customers why, and they're I've been checked out of my Airbnb, or I'm going to an event. And then we also did a little more research, and the kind of mid to long term market was just less appealing, and no one was really innovating in the short term market. So that's how we came to storing bags for the day.
Okay, so is it mostly vacation rental type establishments?
So disproportionately vacation rentals. And I mean, there's a really clear use case there, right? So it's easier for demand partnerships for them to refer people to us, but we do get a lot of day trippers, and we do actually get quite a lot of people from hotels. So it's actually a close split between vacation rentals and hotels. It's just obviously that's disproportionate for vacation rentals.
That was interesting, because what I didn't, you're the ones who've done the market discovery, so you know.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking is that, well, if I check out of a hotel and my flight isn't, I'm on the red eye back to the UK, I would just leave my bag at the hotel.
Yeah. So what we actually find is, a lot of people do. That's why, like I said, disproportionately Airbnbs. But for a lot of people, hotels nowadays, especially mid to lower hotels, they're much less accommodating. They'll be maybe I'll keep it for a few hours. Maybe they don't do it really securely. They'll just kind of keep it behind the desk for you. But a lot of people as well, they're willing to pay just for the convenience of storing in a central location. So, I mean, hotels are really expensive. If you're not working for a large company who's expensing it, you might be staying in Zone 2 or Zone 3 in London, for example.
Right.
So actually, you'd rather pay £10 to store 2 bags rather than have to go back and get your stuff.
Yeah. So tell me about the business model. So it's £10.
Yes. About 10. So it's £6 actually per bag. So it would have been 12 for 2. But basically, the business model is typical online marketplace. We have a platform where we list the businesses that you can store with. Customers book and they pay £6 per bag. We retain about half of that, a little bit over half of that, and then we pay the remainder to the hosts.
So on every £6 bag, you're making £3.
About, yeah.
So you need this to, frankly, you need this to scale in order to
exactly.
For it to really kind of start making some money. So how many staff have you got?
We've got 12 at the moment. Yeah.
And are you making money?
Yes, we're making money. The nice thing about the business model is that there's loads of businesses where it's oh, I'm going to do this thing, and then when I have the audience, I'll pivot into a thing that makes money, and that sort of stuff. But for us, it's from the first transaction, we're making money. What we care about is how to make the big money. And I was saying in the pitch earlier, to us, that's why partnerships are so important, because increasingly, as a young entrepreneur, I see okay, actually the travel sector versus other sectors is really close knit, right? If you want to, it doesn't actually matter that much what you're doing in travel. If you want to make it big, more often than not, you're either going to have to partner with one of the big players, or you have to be the 1 in a million who is toppling one of the big players.
Yeah.
So for us, that means okay, on the host side, I want to partner with big hotel chains, right? Because they actually care about making that extra money. You know, an extra £2,000 a month is a big deal to a hotel. And I mean, more importantly, when you're like this big brand, like to these people, it is a touch point with the customers that they're missing out on, right? Like these are people who didn't stay with you but could have stayed with you, and you're giving them a chance to, you're bringing them in.
Yeah.
And then from there we can start thinking about upselling, right? We can say like, okay, you're coming in, how about like you pay a little bit extra, you get your first coffee, you get access to our Wi-Fi, you know, you get a discount on our breakfast or whatever. Because all of these hotels now have, I say all of these, many hotels now have like the restaurants and the bars and stuff in the reception area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also like as we are like building an audience who is really concentrated and clear to customers, like we're basically saying, I have a group of people who have traveled or like have just arrived in their travels and are definitely free for the day. They've stored their bags. That's valuable to a lot of people, right?
So tell me, how do you vet those that are storing the bags?
The people.
Yeah.
So we just use a similar process to hotel check-ins. They have to book online, they have to show their ID upon arrival, like standard hotel check-in procedure.
Okay. What is there it seems like you've got an opportunity to not only store their bag for them, but sell the museum ticket at the same time.
Exactly. So, like to me, especially like dealing with the demand and supply side of the business, one of the things that I really care about is increasing the lifetime value of a customer to us. So I mean, part of that is like repeat rate, but part of that is what else can I sell to them? But I want to be conscious that like I don't want to be spammy, right? So I'm not going to name names, but like there's particularly in travel, there are some people who you book with, and it's like, do you want this? No. Do you want this? No. Do you want this? No. And it's quite intrusive. We want to focus on our core model, and then we want to find ways that we can actually deliver to our customers useful stuff, relevant stuff, and then actually similarly, rather than us selling on to people, it often makes sense for us to be kind of bundled into things that are sold to customers, right? So we work with, for example, some of the bus companies that do like the sightseeing tours. For them, like they have premium packages and bags actually aren't allowed on the buses, right? So as part of the premium package, we want to try and bundle into those things our services. So that's another way to kind of get it out to customers, distribute it.
So are you generally cheaper than the left luggage places in stations?
Absolutely. So actually in the UK, it's £12.50 to store your bag for a day. Yeah. I mean, so I said £6 per bag earlier. The pricing that we do varies like a little bit from country to country, depending on the circumstances.
Okay, right. Anthony from Stasher, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All the best. Thanks ever so much.